after a pretty good first quarter, the beginning of the second quarter was certainly changed the game a lot. And they went on a big run. It was 17 at one point. We bounced back decently, got it to 6 at halftime. But the third was tough. And, losing tie for the game obviously is a big blow. Go ahead, somebody.
Do you know any more on Ty right now, or is it just left leg soreness?
Left hamstring.
Do you have any sense on if he can return in this series? This time?
We'll find out. We'll know more tomorrow, and then probably even more Saturday.
They had that big stretch, like you already mentioned, in the second, and then again in the third after you guys cut it to 2. What did you see as maybe themes in those runs that got away from you guys in this one?
Well, the bottom of the stat sheet's ugly. It's we lost the rebounds. The second chance points were a big factor, and turnovers once again were a big problem. And so, we got to do better in those areas.
As far as Ty's concerned, is it an aggravation of the same injury, or is it in some way new?
It's the left hamstring. I believe that's the same hamstring as before. So it's sore.
Yeah, that was
so
all.
I
don't know.
I know there's HIPAA laws and stuff like that, but I guess I could pretty safely say it's sore. It's aggravated. So.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
I know you want details other than it's sore.
Okay, gotcha. You obviously had to shake up the lineup a little bit once he goes out. I guess you went kind of to the lower end of the bench about halfway through the fourth. What made you kind of decide to kind of go with that when it was, I think, 15? I think you were down 15 or something like that at the point. What made you decide not to go back to the starters as much?
To look at some guys that I thought needed a look. McDermott went in there and played well. Isaiah Jackson brought a lot of fight to the game. Jalen Smith hasn't had much of an opportunity to play in the playoffs, and so I wanted to see where he was at, and we weren't giving up, but it was an opportunity to get some energetic, fresh guys in there to fight, and they did some good things. The guys that had played to that point, Pascal was very tired. Aaron had 4 fouls. He was tired. I mean, so that was it.
With Tyrese, did he come into tonight sore?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, and he also was dealing with a chest issue.
Well, he got a rebound, and Jaylen Brown. I haven't watched it again, but Jaylen Brown looked like he almost went through him to get the ball, and Tyrese hit the floor. So he came back here, and he had a couple tests done with his chest, and then he fortunately returned pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, in a situation like that, I mean, you do have to think in long term, right? And both for the series and that was Tyrese's injury early in the season. That was pretty significant. So.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure what you're asking. He was unable to return. Okay, so it wasn't like it was a coaching decision not to play him. He was unable to return. So we hope that this is a very short-term aggravation. But again, we'll know more tomorrow, and then Saturday, obviously, the next game is coming quickly.
I did just have one more on Ty. He seemed like he walked off when you subbed him out. Like he didn't seem like he was limping or anything. Did he come and say something after? What happened, at least to your knowledge, that he aggravated it?
Well, he was sore at halftime. He was getting worked on through the entire halftime. Came out and gave it a shot, and was given all the effort that he could. But I haven't talked to him about it directly, so I can't read minds. But it wasn't going well. So the trainers determined that he needed to go to the back and get work done, and he was ruled out.
But on like the chest, it wasn't a specific play that occurred. Like it wasn't like an incident that sparked that injury, just general soreness.
I don't know, and I think we need to move on to another topic here.
Sure.
Otherwise,
when you
go ahead.
I was gonna say with the offensive rebounding in that second quarter, just what did you see from that? I know that's something that you guys struggled with in the Knicks series as well.
I haven't watched it yet. These guys spread you out a little differently than New York does, and they have great athletes, so they beat us to some balls, and we've got to flip that on Saturday night.
Is the job that you did on Tatum for most of the game something to build off of, and is it frustrating to do that kind of job and not have it be something that you can consider could have been part of a win?
We got to try to make it as difficult on them as possible. We got to be physical, persistent. We got to play our game. We have to have the right help at the right time if needed. We got to make these guys make difficult shots, and we got to rebound the ball. And they got a lot of guys over there that can score, And so we were doing some good things during the game. We just were not consistent enough, and the beginning of the second quarter was a killer.
Rick, you talked about that run. It was 20-0 end of first to the second. You dug yourself out of that hole, but in doing so, is that what you think led to some of the fatigue? It was such a daunting task to get back into it from that.
Well, it's I didn't realize it was 20-0, but that is a big hole. I mean, we had a 2-point lead at the end of the first quarter. I liked our first quarter very much, and then they started playing great, and we struggled, and so. Going to have to look at it to give you the exact answers on all of it. When we take a hit like that, we're a team that is pretty resilient and fights back. And so, getting it to 6 at halftime, was positive in my mind. We took a timeout, I think, with 2 minutes or 2.5. Did a good job to close the second quarter, and then third quarter continued to be difficult. I mean, we had some good stretches, but they got a little more separation, and it just got harder.
Coach, you haven't lost in Gainbridge Fieldhouse since March. How will going home be a good reset for this team and have confidence that you can get 2 wins at home?
Well, in the New York series, we were down 0-2 and came home and were able to win Game 3. And then, move along and do what we wanted to do. For us right now, we've got to concentrate on getting back as quickly as we can tonight, and preparing ourselves for our best possible effort on Saturday night. And I know that our building will be as loud and live as it's ever been. It's race weekend and everything else going on. And so we've got to take advantage of that. It doesn't guarantee anything, but it will be a better environment for us than playing here.
Joe, how key were the details tonight, particularly when it came to offensive rebounds, forcing turnovers, and defensive intensity?
Yeah, just the margins. I thought the guys did a really good job, trying to win those. And, first thing is obviously transition, and it's a 3-step process, keeping them out. And, I thought our transition defense was good, really good, kept them in the half court. I thought our individual defense was good, and I thought we were able to get in driving lanes and get out to shooters. And they test our discipline, they test our communication, and I thought we handled it better in Game 2.
What did you like about the way you closed in the fourth quarter, obviously able to extend the lead and keep their starters from re-entering? Our defensive execution stayed intact. We gave up a few many rebounds, but our offensive spacing, shot selection was good. Just managed the game properly.
Jalen obviously had a monster night. What did you see from him?
Just making the right play. Poise, patience, discipline, the proper actions, getting to the right spacing, and just picking and choosing his spots really well, whether it was in transition or in the half court. So it just continues to get better and better. takes a lot of pride in his ability to impact the game in different ways, and I thought he did that tonight.
He only had 2 assists in the box score, but it seemed like he was getting off the ball early when his path was cut off. It seemed like he was really moving the ball well on top of the scoring.
Yeah, I mean, again, hopefully one day they'll add a potential assist category or a hockey assist, and but he made the right play. That's the most important thing.
Joe, is there any update? On Luke's status?
No, I haven't gotten one yet.
And with him out of the lineup, you went small either with Jason or O'Shea. Was that the plan at some point to try that? And if not, what did you think of the way that looked?
Yeah, I mean, it was a plan to just stay open-minded. I knew every game's going to be different, especially with these guys and their ability to just put pressure on you in different ways with their lineup. So it was a plan to get to something like that eventually. So we were kind of forced into it. But I thought it went well. I think I like the speed, I like the athleticism, I like the spacing that we have. So it presents strengths and some weaknesses that we have to be ready for. But I think the open-mindedness throughout the year to play different ways kind of prepares us for situations like this.
Joe, a lot of talk. Drew and Derek obviously made the all-defensive team, and then tonight they come out and combine for 16 assists. How much easier do they make life on the rest of the team on offense? And then how important is it to have 2 guys who are as elite as they are on defense be so impactful on offense as well?
Yeah, they're just really good basketball players. And again, those 2 guys, you always talk about them, they come into a game open-minded on how they get impacted in different ways. Sometimes it's defense, sometimes it's pick-and-roll handling, sometimes it's screening, sometimes it's scoring, sometimes it's shot-making. And they just have the ability to impact the game in different ways on both ends of the floor. Their versatility is important for us.
Joe, I know you don't care about the voting and the awards, but Jalen was left off the All-NBA team, meaning some people didn't think he's one of the top 15 players in the NBA. How do you think things like that motivate him? It seems like people talk more about what he can't do than what he can do. How do you see that motivating him, and how has he evolved as a player and as in maturity over the last 2 years you've coached him?
I mean, Jalen's just like one of my favorite people. I think how's he handle that? I think he cares about it in a way that motivates him, and I think he doesn't really care about it at all because he understands that it's not winning is the most important thing. And so, he has an innate ability to just get better, to work hard, motivation. He has unreal confidence, but he's also not afraid to work on things that he knows he has to get better at. And so you see him every day at shoot-around or in practice. He's out there with 6, 7 coaches working on every possession, every spacing imaginable so that he sees his reads.
All right. The Boston Celtics win. A lot of adjustments, and it's funny. I talked about it last game. Al Horford struggling, drop coverage. Luke Cornett, drop coverage. How much the Pacers are spamming that, and how beneficial it could be for the Indiana Pacers. For the Boston Celtics to go small, perhaps with Jason Tatum at center. And tonight you saw it, and it was out of necessity because Luke Cornett goes out of the game. But honestly, no harm, no foul. Pascal Siakam cooked tonight. He had a great game. I'm going to make an argument that necessarily wasn't exactly in Indiana's favor, and that was much more in Boston's favor. But let's talk about this. Okay, so tonight, you get the Jaylen Brown game, right? You get a really quiet first half from Jason Tatum. I think he had 4 points in the first half. He was really, just probing. I think he had a bad game personally. Like offensively, I think he wasn't nearly as assertive as he needed to be. He played 42 minutes. He had 23 points. One of the 5, 6 best players in the league. He made first team All-NBA. Jaylen Brown doesn't make All-NBA, and frankly, I don't think he should make All-NBA with the season he's had. But that all being said, Jaylen Brown cooked tonight. He just went off. And they really exploited Tyrese Haliburton, right? Now, I don't know if that hamstring's bothering him to start the game, but frankly, he's a pretty bad defender. There's a couple of moments that really made tonight. And I'm gonna refer you to these screenshots because I took these off my TV as I was watching, because during the commercial I just go back and take pictures like a person who does not understand technology. So here's one. Okay. This is a 4-parter, and this was the double Al Horford offensive rebound, and then Jaylen Brown crashing from the corner to get the 3rd offensive rebound, and then finally the TJ McConnell looking at Aaron Nesmith and Pascal Siakam like, what the fuck y'all doing? So that was one sequence. This other sequence was the most open shot in Peyton Pritchard's life. You see Peyton Pritchard at the very, very top of your screen at the left corner. He just kind of strolling through the paint. He goes right behind Obi Toppin and then goes right around um, Miles Turner there. So he goes right behind Miles Turner, and then the ball comes out to Derek White, who then sees him in the corner. So he throws the skip pass over to Peyton Pritchard. Pascal Siakam doesn't see it, and then Pritchard hits the three. I mean, these shots are so freaking backbreaking, right? Like, especially when you're trying to climb in. And look, like the Celtics had a 20-0 run to start the second quarter. It was domination. I don't think the Pacers didn't score for like 6 minutes. If I tell you the Pacers didn't score for 6 minutes, I mean, this is one of the most high octane, fast-paced offenses. And just look at this drought. Like, look at it. We were at 27-27 to start the second quarter, and next thing you look up, it's 42-27. 42-27. Like, that's just insanity. I mean, we went a full solid 6 minutes almost without a score from Indiana. Actually, Indiana didn't score all the way from 1 minute left in the first quarter. So they just went on this massive drought, and that's your game right there. That drought right there, and then to end the third quarter, that drought right there. And without Tyrese Haliburton, this series is over. Like, y'all don't realize how important Tyrese Haliburton and that pick and roll is to what they do and the decisions he makes with the basketball. But he is their only chance in this series. And frankly, they didn't have much of a chance to begin with. So yes, I am proudly declaring that this series is over. It is cooked. I don't think, okay, fair. Let's just talk about this. I do not believe the Indiana Pacers are a conference final team. This is one of the worst conference finals teams in NBA history, in my opinion. Another one that comes to mind is the Atlanta Hawks when they made the conference finals. Look, man, we were saying it back then about the Atlanta Hawks, and everyone's like, a Hawks lover or a Trae Young fan. And they're just like, no, this is legit. Trae Young made it to the conference finals. He's just as good as Luka. Oh my God. Sometimes you get lucky with the schedule. Sometimes you get lucky with injuries. Sometimes you get really unlucky with injuries. It happens, right? So in this case, I believe the Indiana Pacers, kudos for playing who's in front of you and kudos for winning at the Garden. But man, that Knicks team was absolutely gutted, depleted. And frankly, there's a lot of teams in this league that could have beat that team. Okay. Indiana Pacers are not one of the four best teams in basketball. I will argue they're not one of the 10 best teams in the NBA. When healthy, they might not be one of the 12 best teams in the NBA, but they play a style of basketball that puts points on the board. And if they encounter a team that's just that depleted and that tired, they're just going to run them off the floor in fatigue. I do believe if I can go back in time and just, have a one-on-one with Tom Thibodeau or any team that lost to them, I would say go deeper into your bench. Just go deeper into your bench. Tired legs lead to short jumpers. I mean, how many times do we have to talk about that? It just happens, right? I mean, Josh Hart in the previous series, you saw him. He was hitting threes against Indiana. He couldn't make threes. It was harder for him, right? Because they run you up and down the court. You're more tired, and then they push past you in the fourth quarter. It's a game. It's a battle of attrition. They say in the playoffs. Well, it's a marathon, not a race against the Indiana Pacers. And so, you go deeper into your bench. We saw productivity from Alec Burks. You could have used them earlier. When you had OG, you could have used Alec Burks. Maybe you don't lose OG. I don't know. So I'm just saying, go deeper into your bench and you will find a way to beat this team. The other thing, the suggestion was go smaller against this team. Tonight, Al Horford draws the Pascal Siakam matchup, which forces Pascal Siakam to be more of a scorer. I believe this forces the Indiana Pacers to play a brand of basketball that is not Indiana Pacers basketball. TJ McConnell and Tyrese Haliburton getting downhill, attacking the paint, frankly, is your best bet to win basketball games because it opens up corner threes. It opens up above the break threes for Miles Turner. It opens up rebounding opportunities and it just opens the floor. Pascal Siakam going one-on-one against Al Horford is not a recipe for success. However, Pascal Siakam had a big game, right? If you look at, his stats tonight, huge night, 28 points on 13 for 17 shooting. He couldn't miss. How can you blame him? You can't blame him. If anything, you could say double down on this. Go for 50, P. Like maybe, and you know what? We're going to see it. If Tyrese Haliburton misses time, you're going to see Indiana Pacers lean into more ISO ball with Pascal Siakam because you got to put points on the basketball court. But I'll say this for everything Pascal Siakam is going to give you offensively, there's so much that you're losing defensively. And whenever, I'm saying whenever, Drew Holiday or Derek White or Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown can pull Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Haliburton or Pascal Siakam and Obi Toppin or Obi Toppin and any combination of those three players into a ball screen and a switch, you're cooked. You're done. They don't do well. Put a screen on them. It's so, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's kind of easy, right? They just die on screens, bro. They do not communicate. They don't rotate. They don't close out strong. We're seeing it over and over and over, and they don't box out. This team, there's no reason that a team with Miles Turner and Obi Toppin and Pascal Siakam should be giving up so much on the offensive glass. I mean, seriously, the Celtics are kind of playing small now. Now they don't even have Luke Cornett, and you're still giving up offensive rebounds. It's inexcusable to some extent, but that's just the way the team plays. And it is what it is, right? 13 offensive rebounds for the Celtics tonight. They went small and they still won the offensive rebounding battle. And points in the paint, decidedly in the Celtics' favor, 54-34 again, right? Now, the saving grace for for the Indiana Pacers is they shoot 38% from three, which is a really good number. Unfortunately for them, the three-point defense was not great tonight, including that Peyton Pritchard three, including a couple of other threes where Jaylen Brown just dusted, Obi Toppin wide clear. They shoot 40% from three. They shoot 53% from the field. And look, man, Pacers, kudos, 52% from the free from the free throw. From the field. But let me put it this way. If you get the Indiana Pacers to shoot only 29 threes in a game, you have won that game. Okay. This is a team that needs to put up volume. They need to, and look, Tyrese Haliburton was not assertive tonight. They needed him to be assertive. He wasn't, right? So the bare brunt of the offense, and the load fell on TJ McConnell. It fell on guys like, Andrew Nemhard, and it fell on guys like Pascal Siakam. Haliburton cannot take 8 shots. Just can't, right? Yeah, I mean, Pascal Siakam hits both of his threes. He has been shooting kind of cold so you got the Pascal Siakam game. You're going to need much more of that if you hope to be competitive for the rest of this series. Obi Toppin, it's just a lot of transition stuff. It's great. They go pretty deep into their bench. They look at guys like Isaiah Jackson, who gets 17 minutes, Jalen Smith, who gets in. We saw a little bit of Jarris Walker in garbage time. He ended up going 1 for 3. He was not shy about taking shots. Jarris Walker just wanted to let him know that he was there. Yeah, I'm not sure where they go from here, but I'm pretty sure it's Cancun, right? And for the Boston Celtics, I mean, overall, look, there's a version of reality in which you win this series. Like, the only way that Indiana was going to win this series, in my opinion, was quick. Like, you stun them, they have a hangover, you stun them again. You go up 2-0 or 1-1, you win both in Indiana. Then Kristaps Porzingas comes back. He has like some sort of setback. There's a hangover from that. You win that game somehow. There are very few pathways. Okay, you get a crazy shooting night from Tyrese Haliburton, or you get a crazy offensive explosion from Pascal Siakam, or you get like a completely insane, productive night from Miles Turner, or you get a massive like Obi Toppin 28-point game. Like, we talk about the recipe for success for certain teams. There's like a pathway to success, like how it would look. And every team always has a chance, right? Even against the 96 Bulls and the 97 Bulls, you had a chance. It wasn't much of a chance. Maybe it was a 0.01% chance, but you had a chance, right? It might involve injuries. It might involve ridiculous shooting luck. It might involve like some, crazy officiating decisions. But ultimately, every team has a chance. When you walk into a series, every team has a chance, right? It may not seem like it, but they do. And I do believe that the Indiana Pacers had a chance in this series. But in my opinion, every opportunity, every pathway to them being successful in this series, as in winning this series, involved them winning one of the first 2 games. This team cannot win 4 out of 5. You are not going to beat a team that is significantly better than you 4 out of 5 times. The Celtics have a habit of playing down to their competition. The Celtics have lost, I believe, back-to-back game twos. They are the ultimate letdown team. They already had their letdown game. That was last game. Game 1 was their letdown game. They had their soft, dumb mistake type of game. They already had it, and you managed to lose that game too because you had an even bigger meltdown, and now you have this. They're cooked. It's over. You don't want to call a series over, but this is over. So there's nothing to talk about here. There's nothing more to talk about here other than what's next for the Indiana Pacers, and what's next is patience. Patience. Give Tyrese Haliburton and Pascal Siakam one more summer together. Give them some time to gel. Give them a training camp to work together. Give some of your young players. Give yourself time to get Benedict Mathurin back healthy. See what happens there. Maybe dangle a few more of those picks and assets and whatever else you have to bolster around this core. Maybe get a little bit more defense. Maybe get a buy-in defensively from Tyrese Haliburton. Maybe move on from Obi Toppin, who has been a really good shooter and a really good shot maker. But man, I don't know how you can play Tyrese Haliburton, Pascal Siakam, and Obi Toppin together and not get cremated defensively. So, look, a lot of questions to be asked. I do think Jarris Walker is real. I do. I really do. Maybe make consolidate some of these young pieces. Your Ben Shepherds, your Jalen Smith, who is, I believe, a free agent, your Isaiah Crawford. Consolidate some of these guys. Like, these are useful guys as 10th, 11th guys. You have so many 10th, 11th guys on your roster. Maybe parlay them into like a kind of overpaid 7th guy. I don't know, a Doug McDermott, for instance. I don't know. Anyways, I think a hell of a run for the Indiana Pacers. I'm willing to call it for them right now. I'm just willing to say that I think the series is over. It was never much of a series to begin with. I really do regret not cashing out on my 1 to 1,501 bet that the Mavericks would beat the Pacers in the finals. There was a $21 cash out opportunity on that bet before this series started, and it existed after the Mavericks won. And I should have taken it. But I was just like, but what if the Celtics melt down? Again, a 1% chance at $1,500 because there's no way in hell Indiana's beating Dallas. And I don't think that, so my prediction is Dallas beats Boston in the finals. That's how I think this will break down. I do believe that Minnesota is going to come for a hell of a fight tomorrow. I don't expect them to lay dead. I think a lot of people have said a lot of shit about Minnesota over the last 24 hours, and I think they're hearing everything. They're a young team. They're an immature team. They hear everything. They're going to serve as motivation. So if Dallas gets complacent even a little bit, they're going to get knocked out tomorrow. Like, I think Dallas could lose big time tomorrow. But again, it's going to come down to Luka's health. Luka has not been himself in this playoff series so far. Schematically, this game, again, Al Horford drawing, Pascal Siakam. Do you know who the best matchup possibly in the entire NBA? One of the top 3 matchups in the NBA is for Pascal Siakam? Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum. It's a great matchup. Now, we all remember, Jaylen Brown shutting down Pascal Siakam in the bubble, but Jaylen Brown is not a great matchup for Pascal Siakam. I think Jason Tatum is the greatest matchup. He matches him athletically. He's stronger than him. He is just sound defensively. And you know what? I'll be very curious to see what Pascal Siakam looks like as a first option if Tyrese Haliburton is out for the rest of the series, because I am curious myself. Honestly, I've had a lot of bearish takes about Siakam as a first option guy. I've had a lot of people in Raptorland and media people tell me that I'm wrong, that Pascal Siakam just needs shooting around him. Well, he's got plenty of shooting around him. He's got Obi Toppin. He's got a stretch big that he's always wanted. Aaron Nesmith can hit a little bit. Okay, so we're going to put some shooting around him, and we're going to see, what was it just, Jakob and Scotty just getting in his way? We'll see. Maybe he can put up a 40-50 piece, and we're just like, holy shit, maybe this guy is worth a supermax. Or, what happens is a lot of unfinished plays, a lot of poor reads, a lot of turnovers, a lot of, botched plays. Look, man, like defensively, just so much compromise, right? So many poor rotations. There's that one play where he hands the ball off, I think, to TJ McConnell, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just like, it kind of just comes off of McConnell's hands a little bit, like not clean. And then Jaylen Brown picks it away and he goes down for a fast break, and Siakam catches up and just puts a hand on Jaylen Brown, and he gets the and one. Like, You want to talk about back-breaking plays? You want to talk about 2 points is not 2 points, or 3 points is not 3 points? Those are exactly the type of plays that break your back on the road, right? So you have like a compounding of errors, right? On the one hand, you throw the ball and this guy can't catch the ball, right? And it's just like the pass that you throw it's always your responsibility, right? So if you throw it and a guy can't hold it and it's literally like a pass that's like 6 feet away, you just off target. Your hand-eye coordination is off. Like, you're just not passing clean. And you hand it to the guy, he loses it. So now you're like, okay, like, let's salvage the situation. Let's foul early, or, don't get a take foul, or, don't get a, one of those, but like, foul early, block the shot, or just let the guy go. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the end of the world. Just move on. The Pacers are actually quite good at converting makes into transition. So they were like one of the best teams in the league at doing that, where you can score on them and they're still running it down your throat the other end. But instead of that, you compound it by not only picking up a foul on one of your best players, not only putting the guy on the line, letting him make the shot as well, and then based on the fact that you may be able to run off of a make, but it's really hard to get transition out of a free throw. So honestly, the recipe for the Pacers to win, as I mentioned before, win early, stun them, prey on a collapse. The recipe for the Celtics, they can win 1,000 different ways. The Celtics could have lost game 1, game 2, and still won this series. The Celtics could have lost game 1, 2, and 3 and still won this series. The Celtics could have split both games. They could probably lose a starter right now. Like, I'm not kidding with you. The gap in talent is so huge. It's so huge. I came into this series thinking, is Tyrese Haliburton the third best player in the series or the second best player in the series? I don't know. He might be the third. He might be the second. But I do know who the best player in the series is, and he hasn't had one of those big-time Jason Tatum games yet. And I have a feeling that if Tyrese Haliburton is back, that he's going to have a really big-time Jason Tatum game in Game 3. Do not expect Jason Tatum to be quiet forever. He's obviously gone through his fair share of injuries in the past going into the finals. I think his goal at this point is just to get through this, okay? NBA players know. NBA players are not you and I. They're not stupid. They are not idiots. They are not buying into the hype. A team, a player, Jason Tatum knows the Indiana Pacers are not real, okay? They can respect them. They can respect that they're there, but they know that there is no fucking way in hell that the Indiana Pacers belong on this stage with them. And they are not going to rush back Kristaps Porzingas and burn out Jason Tatum and dive on the floor and break their legs trying to get here, because their ultimate goal is a championship. The Celtics have been aiming for a championship all year. They've had so much pain, so many scars. Every educated basketball person that I can think of, like, if you didn't walk into this series thinking this was the Celtics series, right now you'd be crazy to pick the Pacers. So they're cooked. This is over. I don't know if it's over in 4. I don't know if it's over in 5. If it's over in 6, color me very surprised. If this game goes to a game 7, I don't know anything about basketball. All right, that's it. We're going to be live tomorrow. We're definitely going to break down Mavericks game 2 and Minnesota game 2. Let's get to a few comments here. We still got, what the hell? Okay. Hold up. 1 sec. Oh, and of course, okay, Edmonton wins over Dallas. Cray. All right. James saying KP always injured. Jaylen Brown, he's not, but okay. Just my humble opinion. Lions Prod said they blew their chance with game 1. That was it. Did you get the consent form, dude? Pacers fans see what the Knicks are going through with injuries. Yeah. Did Turner score at all tonight? He is so overrated. I don't think Miles Turner's overrated at all, man. James, if Siakam leaves, we might get a good pick in 26 from Indiana. I disagree. I think if Pascal Siakam stays, you might get a good pick. Siakam should go to OKC. No, he should not. No, he should not. No, he shouldn't. Please, please, please play the Tatum post-game presser. Why? It almost just makes me think like, did he call Jason? Did he call Jaylen Brown the best player on the Celtics? Did he tell you that? Like, is that where we're going with this? Sure, we'll play it. We'll play it as an outro to this live. Only because you said please 5 times, 3 times, 2 times. My bad. Bro, I don't care what people say to the fucking media. Like, what do I care? If he says, he's our best player, like I doubt he said that, but I don't care. His teammate just got snubbed for All NBA. That's all anyone can talk about. If the opposite of calling Brown the best player, he refused to use his name. Okay, cool. That's interesting.
Jason, a lot of the momentum seemed to shift when you moved over to the 5 and O'Shea came in, played the 4. What did you see from those lineups that worked?
Yeah, I think it allowed us to play a little bit faster, and each game presents different challenges. Or, we always talk about we just have to be open to different things, and whenever your number is called or whatever you're asked to do, just be ready to do it.
I mean, we've talked about this a little bit before. Obviously, you're a big guy, but playing the 5 is different responsibilities, maybe a little bit of a different toll on your body. What is that like for you shifting into that position?
I mean, we got defensive principles that we follow, and it's just about being connected, communicating, and playing hard, essentially, and then going up and trying to get a rebound.
Jason, O'Shea was a plus 18 tonight. What did you see from him that made him so impactful, and how rewarding is it to see a guy that really hasn't seen many minutes this postseason take off like that?
It was great, just the energy that he came in with on both ends, just finding a way to impact the game. And like you said, we see the stay ready group guys work and show up for us every single day. So I love when they're able to get their number called and get an opportunity to help us win a game.
Jason, did you speak with Jaylen before the game about being snubbed from the All-NBA teams? And if so, how do you think it impacted him tonight?
No, we didn't talk about that today. During shoot-around, we just focused on winning the game tonight. We all felt like internally that he should have, made one All-NBA teams. So it was a shame to see that he didn't.
Jason, 40 points for Jaylen tonight after his heroics in Game 1. What have you seen from him throughout the course of this postseason? How has his game evolved in your view?
I think, the game is just slowing down for him more and more, finding ways to be effective, still while making the right play, and, just being himself, when we need him to.
Jason, how pleased are you to get out of here up 2-0, heading to Indy for Game 3, what you guys were able to accomplish here?
Yeah, I mean, winning is hard. Winning in the playoffs is tough. It never goes, I guess, how you expect it to. Each game is different in its own right. It did feel good to finally win a Game 2, especially at home. So, but we understand that New York was up 2-0 and ended up losing that series. So, far from relaxed, but, you take a win whenever you get it.
They play on offense with a lot of chaos. That's a word that's been used a lot. How did you feel tonight you guys have kind of been able to slow down and see through the chaos?
I mean, it's tough. They put a lot of pressure on you. Even the guys that come off the bench, they play with a lot of freedom, a lot of pace. They do a good job of spacing the floor. So you just got to connect to them, connect to bodies. You can't let them run around without getting touched, essentially, because then it makes it extremely tough to do.
Throughout the season, you jump in and out of 14 and 15 coverage all the time. Changing coverages so much throughout the season, does it make it easier to adapt to how much you have to change with this team?
I mean, short answer would be yeah. We just practice it so much throughout the season that, and that's why we do it throughout the regular season. So, when it comes to playoff time, it's not a lot of confusion.
Jason, how important is Jalen's voice? Obviously, his play has been big, but his voice, becoming more vocal. I know, in one of the games you struggled early in the playoffs, he was like, Jason found his rhythm. We got to see him find his rhythm even more. Has he kind of been in your ear for a lot of this playoff run, motivating you and pushing you? Like, what's his voice been like for you and the team?
Yeah, I think it's important for every guy in that locker room to speak up, right? We all respect each other, and that comes from trust. We see the work that everybody puts in every single day and the growth from, whenever your first year here was until now, the growth and development of every single guy. And we have that environment where, everybody has a voice from the top guy to, the last man on the bench, right? We all in this together. You need to encourage somebody, do so. If you see something that we're doing wrong, it's your job to speak up.
And how does that help you when a guy like him does try to motivate you or anybody on the team, really, like you said?
It's just like having 15 brothers or so, right? We all spend so much time together. We trying to.
Macmon, dude, you're so fucking weird, bro. You are so weird. Your interpretation of shit is so weird. There's nothing wrong with how Jason Tatum said anything. I think I'm pretty sure every person in the chat who's listened to this shit would tell you the same thing. Like, Celtics media was going crazy. Like, what are you talking about, bro? You straight up delusional.
Accomplish something special, so we are all in this together.
Last question to Abby.
You mentioned JB, but what does it mean to you to make the All-NBA team in a third straight year? How gratifying is that after all the work that you put in?
I mean, it's special. It's something I strive to do, that I expect, but it's nothing I take for granted.
Go listen to CLNS. Bro, like, I'm not stupid. I can make my own interpretation of something. Like, I've followed this team pretty closely all year, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, going back like 6 years now. Very familiar with their relationship. It is all love for the most part. It's a competitive, thing. They push each other. There's no beef here. I don't know what people are aiming at here. I understand, like, a lot of people said this about me when I was interpreting Fred's responses about, Scotty and stuff, but I felt like there was actually something there. There's nothing here. All he had to say was he's great. All right. Enough. I wish there was just a way. I'm just going to ignore. I'm ignoring the rest of this. Honestly, nice to hear
It's
from
an
Jason
honor
Tatum.
to be on first team All NBA. So many talented guys in this league. The talent just gets better and better each and every year. So I'm very fortunate to make that team again. I'm thankful for everybody that has helped me along the way. Success is not something that you can achieve by yourself. So, it's a lot of people that deserve credit in helping me get to where I'm at.
I often think about my hypothetical child. I think about if I had a son or a daughter, who would I ask them to look up to? Would I ask them to look up to this person as a role model? Would I ask them to watch this person's game as a basketball player, etc.? I think if I had a kid, I would absolutely ask them to look up to Jason Tatum as a role model. Jason Tatum's awesome. Like, he's a really great dude in the Boston community. He's friggin' awesome. He's humble. He's not braggadocious. I honestly, like, I'm rooting for this guy. I am. Yeah, I have issues with Celtics fans, just like I was rooting for the Knicks, but I have issues with Knicks fans. I like Jason Tatum. I like Kristaps Porzingas. I think these guys have gone through a lot. I think they deserve a championship. At the same time, I definitely am, going to be rooting for Dallas if the two teams meet. But if Dallas and Boston meet in the finals, yo, I'm rooting for everybody because I don't really care. Either way, I'm not going to be upset if those two teams win. But yeah, man, like I think a lot of people get a bad rep. Jason Tatum gets clowned on a lot. I think a lot of people say a lot of shit about him. Um, I agree. I agree, Oak Tree. Um, it just comes down to that, right? Like I think that overall, I think that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are really good people off the court. Like a lot of people talk about like Karl Anthony Towns, like he didn't just win the social justice award, right? Like these guys have lives beyond basketball in terms of who they are to their teammates, who they are to their family, their stories, their come up, what they do for their communities, and generally speaking, how they carry themselves within those communities and what they do for their cities and what they do in terms of charity. And you might say that's not really part of how they dribble a basketball. You might say shut up and dribble, all that stuff. But I do think that that plays a part into it. Like what you do for other people with your platform matters a lot to me. Do you stand up for things that matter to you? Matters to me. All these things matter to me. And I just think that Jason Tatum has genuinely been like such a great teammate like throughout. He hardly ever has anything really bad to say about anybody. He don't usually take like shit out on it. Like when he has a bad game, usually he's not sitting up there like making excuses and blaming everybody. He's not really throwing his coaches under. You never hear stories about how he demanded this guy be traded or that guy be traded. Yeah, man, I think more people could be like Jason Tatum personally. Anyways, peace, enjoy. Enjoy your night. I'll see you guys tomorrow after Dallas and Minnesota. We may do a live somewhere tomorrow about the Raptors, but not sure. Really wanted to dig into RJ Barrett at some point. Emmanuel quickly. Fun fact is I tried screen recording NBA 2K24. I just want to say this just for the record. I hate NBA 2K24, bro. I hate it. I can't stand this game. It's so bad. It's so bad. Just like the playing, like I wish I could just go back to NBA 2K19 or something and just play that. But anyways, we're on PS5. Have NBA 2K24. I'm not a fan of this game. The My GM mode kind of sucks. The computer AI is a little bit weird. I ran a simulation to see like what the Toronto Raptors could look like, if I ran the entire offseason simulation and I wanted to record it. And the first thing is, suddenly the Philadelphia 76ers instead of the Spurs have all our picks, and I got to make all those trades. And after all those fucking adjustments, I get to the draft. I managed to trade up for the 3rd overall pick. And then Alex Sarr is still there. So I start trading down. Bro, Alex Sarr falls all the way to 13th in this, NBA 2K24 mock draft. And I'm just like, this is trash. Like, this is not going to happen in real life. So I gotta tweak some shit. And then I'm getting to like the trades and like it's not really working the way I would like to. Like there's some hypothetical trades that are happening and just it's not working. So I would have loved to do like a simulation. I would love to do it live, but frankly, a lot of it is just like me trying to correct things. Atong saying, "Ah, man, 2K24 on the PC is unbearable." I don't doubt it. Yo, 2K, shout outs. Y'all getting lazy as fuck. Like I still remember NBA 2K, the original NBA 2K. Do I have it? I had it on Dreamcast. NBA 2K. That game was revolutionary, okay? NBA 2K and like, playing with Jalen Rose and Latrell Sprewell and Vince Carter. Shit, man, that was so cool. But this game is so trash. That's why like you don't pray for the downfall of competition like live, because when NBA Live was around, NBA 2K was still sharp. But anyways, I only ever play these games for that my GM, my association, whatever mode. And to see it so watered down and so I don't play my player. Like I'm not trying to live vicariously my hoop dreams through some, digital avatar. I don't really care about that. I'm just trying to like, formulate teams and build dynasties. And, anyways, it's kind of depressing to see how bad the platform is. But nevertheless, I will figure it out. I'll figure out, I'll tweak the draft, tweak the sliders, tweak the settings, and maybe, hopefully next week or so I'll get it because I got some pretty cool trades done. I ended up trading Jakob Poeltl to OKC for multiple firsts, which was cool. I ended up fucking up in free agency because I ended up signing Emmanuel quickly before signing OG Anunoby. But OG Anunoby did leave the Knicks. Just an FYI, in my 2K simulation, OG Anunoby left the Knicks. But there's a whole bunch of stupid shit that happened with the computer. Like, for instance, Jalen Duren is suddenly an unrestricted free agent. I was like, what? Are you telling me the Pistons didn't pick up the qualifying offer on Jalen Duren? Like, why is Jalen Duren a free agent? Like, so the computer AI is so messed up in this. Pascal Siakam is literally sitting on free agency for like a year. Who else? Killian Hayes. How much does Killian Hayes cost in NBA 2K24 in free agency? $17 million. Bro, that guy would be lucky to get a contract for $17 next year. I don't understand this. So, like, maybe it's just like aggressive tweaking needs to be done. And also, the NBA 2K24, like the user draft that you download, all the spellings are wrong. I'm like, what? Like, what was it? Eve's Mystery. I'm like, what? It's Eve's Misi. So the names are wrong. There's players who are missing. So I just need to go through this entire fucking thing. And just to get 1 year simulated correctly, I need to literally correct the entire thing. So I need to like adjust all the players so that they're fairly valued. And obviously Scotty's going to get like a 2-3 point bump. But like, I mean, some of the ratings make no fucking sense. How is Jalen Green an 86 and Scotty Barnes 86? I'm sorry. What? Jalen Green, 86. These ratings make no fucking sense. You know why these ratings are where they are? Do you want to know why they are where they are? Because teams need to be playable, right? Teams need to be playable. The Detroit Pistons need to be a playable team. So it doesn't matter if Cade is like in real life, like a 76. You're not going to make their best player a 76 because no one in Detroit is going to buy your stupid ass game. And that's why he's an 86. It baffles me. You know, I wish for realistic ratings. You know, if Grady Dick is a 59, make him a 59. I don't care. I don't care. You know, if Scotty Barnes is an 82 and he's our best player, then make him an 82. I don't care. But don't make every single team have like an 87 guy. Like, I don't get that. So, anyways, loved JB's response to All NBA snub. I don't care about any of this, but sure. Yeah. Anyways, talk to y'all later. Peace. Have a good one.